Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It's a special edition this week because I do not know if you know this. You probably do if you're a video game fan like myself and the Chugs, but it's Game Awards week. Just shy of a few days after the Game Awards has aired, and we have a whole lot to talk about, including a bunch of games we've played this week. Chugs, how was your week in video games?
It's been great. Again, I do want to mention that I'm so excited to talk about the Game Awards later on in this episode because I thought it was an incredible show. I think maybe it was my favorite Game Awards ever. Like I loved it so much.
Too, yes.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that we got to watch it together on Twitch too, man. That was awesome. So glad you were there.
That's right. I'm in the UK right now, and I actually to watch the show, I jumped into Adam Cole's Twitch stream, twitch.tv/the Chugs. And if it was not for his Twitch stream, I don't think I would have been capable of watching it because my internet was so bad here. But I got to watch it side by side with you. We got to react to all the things together.
Yeah, which was awesome. But in regards to the games that I have played this week, I actually have not played. I say this, and I'm already thinking of the games that I have played. I guess more so, there was only one new game that I played this week. But once again, I've been continuing every single morning with Pokemon trading card game Pocket. Just loving the battles, loving collecting all the cards. It's the best. I always have to shout it out because it is indeed a game, and in my opinion, maybe my favorite mobile game of all time. But again, we were talking about Twitch a little bit earlier. As many people know, I have been doing my first blind playthrough of Game of the Year nominee. And we'll get into whether or not it won, even though I'm sure everyone knows that Claire Obscure Expedition 33 just absolutely crushed it at the Game Awards. But I've been continuing this absolutely incredible title, and I'm still not finished with it yet. I play so slow when I go through games, especially ones with incredible stories and also a bunch of cool stuff to explore. I am at the tail end of this game. So I know for a fact that next week, when we talk about our top 10 or our game of the year for 2025 on next week's episode, I will have it finished by then because I need to finish the game by then. But man, just... Again, this game is mind-blowingly large. There is so much to do, so much awesome things to explore, so many optional areas to go to, so many optional bosses to fight. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're filming this on a Friday this week, and after the podcast today, it's going to be part 33 of my streamed playthrough of Expedition 33. So I think it'd be pretty sweet to be able to beat the game on part 33, but we'll see. I'm not going to rush anything. This is a game that I definitely want to sit back and enjoy. Just once again, deserved of all the credit and all the love that game has gotten for sure. In addition to that, I did, of course, continue Pokemon Legends ZA. That game has been an absolute blast. I've talked before about the open world environment and how fun it is to go to different wild zones and fight and look for different Pokemon, looking for shinies. Also, finding trainers to fight at night with the battle zones as well. That's been really fun. So initially, because this game is an open world game and there are main quests and side quests, my full intention was just to kind of play this game as I felt like it. Like if I feel like doing some side quests, I'll do them. But generally, I'm going to focus on the main quest. I've been doing like every single side quest you can possibly do. So I think this game is probably going to take me a while, but that's okay. Because again, I love the new battle system. The music is so great in this game. There's this one song that plays when you're hanging out with Team MZ, who is your crew, and it's, again, I mentioned this before, but it's such a funky jazz song. It's so good, so good. So Pokemon Legends ZA has been a blast. I feel like that game will probably take me a while. It seems like a pretty meaty title, which is great because it's been an awesome Pokemon game. I also continued Marvel's Cosmic Invasion on my Steam Deck as well, the new 2D beat 'em up with Marvel characters. That game has been really, really fun. Once again, the tagging in and out with partners. You pick two superheroes at the start of a level. Generally, the game will recommend to you which characters to pick based on challenges that you could accomplish. And I've been doing that not only because I want to complete the challenges, but because you level up those characters as you play levels. And for example, some of these levels and some of these bosses are very tricky. Like the last one I did, I ended up having to fight Venom. And I died playing through this level twice. Because that final boss was so tough. But every time you're finished doing a run, even when you die, your character will gain 1 or 2 levels and then 1 or 2 perks along with that, which may be extra HP. It may be extra ability power. It may be a really cool passive ability that will help you. And then over time, you do eventually defeat it based on becoming stronger. So I really dig the RPG elements of that. That game has been really, really fun. I feel like I've got to be close to the end of that game, so hopefully I can finish that before the year is out. But once again, Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, a very, very fun 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, a blast of a game. Also, I have been in such a FromSoft Soulsborne mood lately. And I mentioned the other week how I jumped back into Elden Ring Nightreign. Recently, the Elden Ring Nightreign DLC has come out with, again, probably one of everyone's favorite Dark Souls enemies or bosses, that being Artorias. And I got all excited, and I'm like, man, I got to jump into the DLC. But truth be told, I have gotten nowhere practically in the base game. This game is, again, I have a ton of experience with Soulsborne games. I've beaten all of them. I love them dearly. They're awesome. But trying to play Elden Ring Nightreign solo, even though they've kind of adjusted some of the systems with the enemies and stuff. For example, I think the enemies, when you play solo, they do have less health, but generally the enemies hit just as hard if you're playing by yourself or you're playing with 3 different people. So that makes it pretty tough. And for me, I've really been struggling doing solo Elden Ring Nightreign runs. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to play with random people across the internet. I'm going to do groups of 3, and I'm going to go into this map, and we're going to explore together and fight together. And it is, dude, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Generally, I am a single player for the most part. I do really enjoy multiplayer as well, but for the most part, I do like playing single player games. But going and playing with other people has been such a blast. Like, for example, I did this run yesterday where we were on the second night boss. I believe it was Morgot, and me and another teammate were down. And Morgot had like just a sliver of health, and our teammate's trying to run over to revive us, but he can't revive us without having to dodge Morgot. And then eventually he has this big one-on-one fight with him, and he does it. We all respawn. We're all jumping because, again, we're not using microphones. We're just all showing how excited we are within the game. And I love little moments like that. Absolutely love little moments like that. Also, the further you make it into a run, the better rewards you get. So that could be different relics. That could be more currency to be able to buy more relics. You definitely benefit, at least for me, from playing with a team, even if it's a team of people that you don't know. So Elden Ring Nightreign has been awesome. I'm going to get to that DLC, and I'm going to get to that Artorias boss fight, no matter how many times I die, no matter how many times I try. But yeah, Elden Ring Nightreign is so much fun. So much fun. And last but not least, I did get to try a new title, which I was very excited about. Uno, you talked about this, and I've heard from other people how great this game is, and that's the new title, Dispatch, the decision-based, story-based game, which is so good, by the way. Again, I have played so many different Telltale games throughout my life, whether it's Walking Dead Season 1 and 2, Tales from the Borderlands, Game of Thrones. The Wolf Among Us is another really, really great decision-based, story-driven game. And with Dispatch, I've only played 1 chapter so far. That chapter was about 1 hour. I'm playing on my Xbox Ally X. It runs perfectly, by the way. But man, I'm hooked already. Like, I can't wait to see where the story goes. I love how it really does seem like the decisions that you make drastically impact what happens, which of course is what should happen in a game like this. But it really does show how different paths or different ways that things could go. I love the little mini game of actually being the dispatcher and sending superheroes to certain scenarios or situations where it's their strong suit. So hopefully you succeed at getting rid of the bad guys in that scenario. It's a really cool, interesting mini game that I think adds a lot to the game as well. But the big thing for sure is the story itself. The voice acting is excellent. The story is incredibly intriguing. I'm so excited to see more. So Dispatch is a really, really cool title that I'm so glad that I jumped into. So, because again, I love stories in video games, and Dispatch seems like it has an incredible story, But Uno, that's about it. That's about all I played this week.
Well, let me interject on Dispatch because last week I was at GalaxyCon. That's where AEW Collision was taped last week, as well as the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. And while walking around the stores, I purchased a few things. And you would be surprised for a game that is so recent. I think it came out 6 months ago. The amount of cosplays I saw related to this one game was actually quite surprising. Like, I did not realize Dispatch is getting so much fandom so shortly after it came out, including Samoa Joe pulled me aside at work. He's like, "Are you playing Dispatch? What did you do in the game? What about your decisions?" And like, that's among my favorite conversations in video games is when they can branch out into their own paths, and we're both talking about like, our different decision trees, our different endings and stuff. So yeah, Dispatch, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm glad you are liking it too, because this feels like something you would be into it. There's a bunch of lore, and it's gonna be a good time for sure.
Oh, definitely. I'm so excited to finish it. So excited.
On my side, very similar to you, I did not play nearly as many games as before. I've been traveling this week. I thought I would play a ton on the flight. Instead, I ended up just resting. But I did play a couple things. Last week, I talked about how I started Spider-Man 2. Well, I put in a bunch more time on that. I believe about maybe 6-7 more hours while I was home. It's incredible. Story-wise, it's very unique. I don't want to get into it, but they take new spins on certain characters that I think is very fascinating. But it has great reasoning as to why when you play the previous two games, you get to switch between both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. They both have their whole series of outfits by now. They both have a bunch of different skills. If you played both of the previous games, Miles has kind of like an electrical skill in this one, while Peter Parker is developing a different thing entirely, more tech-based stuff within the game as well. So it's very good. Traversal's incredible, and what I've really enjoyed from this, and this is what I enjoy about Batman and a lot of these video games that tackle superheroes, is they have crammed in so many of the villains. In 10 hours, I feel like I've at least interacted with 7 different villains from the mainline Spider-Man game, and that's like something to me is almost more important than spending time with Spider-Man himself, because a superhero is only as good as his rogue gallery.
Yep.
So I've been really enjoying that. That's I can't believe I skipped out on that in 2023. It's an incredible title. I'm having a blast. I honestly cannot wait to get back home so that I can play it a little more. But that's not all. I actually did get to play a few more things, including a game came out this week. It's available on PS Plus Premium, I believe, or maybe even PS Plus Base for this month, and that is called Skate Story. I put about 2 hours into this. This is a Devolver Digital produced or dropped published game. And what it is, it's you are a demon whose goal is to eat the moon. And because you want to eat the moon, you are cursed with being turned into glass. And none of this will make sense, but I have to say it. You were turned into glass. And your goal is to try and reach the moon so that you can eat it, but demons are trying to intercept you. So you then decide to do one of the cardinal sins of wherever you are, and that is skateboard around so that you could traverse towards the moon. It's a really weird game, but as is known by Devolver Digital, this is kind of like it has like an ethereal style to it where, you're structured like glass, but everything around you is kind of like abstract horror-ish structures. The base game is really driven around skateboarding, so that includes navigating through linear paths and avoiding things, but also doing ollies, doing pop-ups, doing shove-its, doing kick flips, so on and so forth. I'm only 2 hours into it. I heard the game is about 6 to 8 hours, and I feel like I'm only just kind of scratching the surface of challenges yet. It's been very easy. It's kind of drip feeding both the story and both how to play. So I've learned most of the tricks. And I think I'm now just going to have to start having runs where I have to like structure my tricks to hit the pop shove-its in certain sections and so on and so forth. But it's been enjoyable. It's been a very unique little game. Unfortunately, it came out in December, and unfortunately for 2025, I just don't think it would make my game of the year list. But I am enjoying it, and I will definitely get back and finish it very shortly. Last week I promised I would play Metroid 4. Prime, Metroid Prime 4. A heads up, I did download it. I have not played it yet. I will end up having time to talk about it a little bit for a we're doing deliberations next week for Game of the Year. So if you did not know, next episode will be our Game of the Year list. I will end up playing a bit of Metroid. I doubt I finish it in time, but I have locked my list as of yet. I'm just giving y'all a forewarning. I know exactly the 10 that I'm going to talk about.
Ooh.
And I also know my Game of the Year. No teases today, but we will talk about it next week. And then finally, last game. This game actually got released this year. It was in early access. It was fairly cheap on Steam, and I just decided to grab it out of a hunch that, I was like, it's overwhelmingly positive in reviews. It must be good. And this game is called Dr. Rhythm, or Rhythm Doctor, rather. Sorry, the other way around. And it's a lot like, have you ever played Rhythm Heaven before, Chugs?
I have not.
Okay, so Rhythm Heaven is a rhythm game, but it's a rhythm game, kind of like a micro rhythm game, where it's usually one single button press. The songs are short, but somehow, they pack a bunch of punch with just that little bit of a concept. Rhythm Doctor is very similar in that you go and you work in a hospital, and every patient is essentially sick, and you are doing this experimental procedure on them where to the sound of music, you are trying to essentially interact with their heart. So their heartbeat, I've played maybe 4 hours of this. For the first few, on the 7th beat of a song, you have to hit the button. This is a single press button. You literally only need to press one button to ever play it. And it's kind of level structures that are less than 2 minutes. There are several levels. In 4 hours, I think I've played 15 as of yet already.
Okay.
But the way it works is that on the 7 beat, you're supposed to match the exact timing of that beat with your button press. Simple at first, but they've expanded on it so much in the 4s that I played that I'm actually quite impressed. As a single press button game and as a rhythm game, you would kind of think it's one tone, but they've really found ways to either they mask some of the beats so that you can't count it out loud. They visually mask it as well. There's like all kinds of glitching and stuff, but there's a lot of like attention diversion within the video game to try and make you mess up, which has made it very, very interesting, very challenging. And then as soon as you beat a level, so let's say you solve a patient, you can then redo that level, but in a harder version. All of them all have their own music. And the harder versions end up being like remixes of those songs. So the first song is a pretty straightforward bop where you hit every 7th hit. And then afterwards it's a dubstep version where, the rhythm either slows down or it goes real fast, so on and so forth. I'm actually surprised no one's talking about this game because I am having an absolute blast with it. If you are into rhythm games, there's been a few. Unbeatable just came out as well. I did not play it as either this year, but do check out Rhythm Doctor. I am enjoying this a whole lot. Very cheap, plays great on the Steam Deck. Just recently out of early access, and a bunch of content in it from what I could see.
Nice.
And on my side, that's it. I actually, I wish I could have played more, but with the travels and such, being a Galaxy Con and such, I did not get a whole lot. But that's okay, because in our news portion, not only will we be answering producer quiz, which are one of our favorite segments of the show, but we have to talk about the Game Awards.
Oh, yeah.
Where they dropped a bunch of new video games as well as big awards. And we're going to be talking about it right after this.
Welcome back to episode 88 of the All Elite Arcade podcast with myself, the Chugs, and of course, Evil Uno. And to kick things off with this section of the podcast, we of course are going to do one of our favorite new segments of the show, that being the producer quiz. Our producers are kind enough to send us 3 questions with some video game trivia that myself and Evil Uno have to answer. We will find out at the very end of today's episode who was right, who was wrong. Uno, you ready to jump into it?
Oh, I am.
All right. Well, this theme of this producer quiz this week is, of course, about the Video Game Awards, which is very appropriate considering it just happened this week. And question number 1, which game won the game of the year in the first year of the Game Awards, which was in 2014, by the way? Was it A, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, B, Dragon Age Inquisition, C, Hearthstone, or D, Dark Souls 2? Ooh. I think I have my guess.
I think I do too. I remember watching all of this, and I still cannot remember who won Game of the Year, but I have my guess.
Okay. And again, we won't go into any explanation, right? Until we're just gonna guess our answers. I'm gonna guess B, Dragon Age Inquisition.
And my vote will be for Shadow of Mordor.
Okay. All right. So my guess, B, Dragon Age Inquisition. Uno with A, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Okay. Yeah, a lot of these are guesses. Question 2. Which game won Best Independent Game of the Game Awards in 2018? Is it A, Return of the Obra Dinn, B, Celeste, C, Dead Cells, or D, Hades?
Ugh. That is an unreal year when you list them off like that. That is like 4 of the best indie games ever.
Unbelievable.
I think I have my answer.
Okay. I think I have my answer too. The thing that I'm having trouble with is trying to remember if all these games were indeed released in 2018. That's the thing that I'm trying to wrap my head around.
I didn't even consider that as a trap.
Because my answer, yeah, it could be a trap. Like that's the thing. Because if I knew for sure, I know what I would guess, but I don't. So I'm going to go with B again. I'm going to go with Celeste.
Okay. I am going to go with Hades.
Okay. Yep. That's what oh God, I wish I should know this. But great choice. Hades is a great choice. Okay. So I, once again, I'm going with B, Celeste, and Uno this time is going with D, Hades. 2 incredible independent titles. Okay. So this third question, so challenging, at least for me. So question 3, how many Game of the Year awards has Nintendo won and for which games? And you must answer correctly to get a point for this. You have to answer it correctly. So how many Game of the Year awards has Nintendo won and for which games? Again, the Game Awards started in 2014, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around every incredible Nintendo title that's released since 2014 and how many of them won Game of the Year. This is tricky.
It's very tricky because if you told me none, I also wouldn't be surprised. That's the crazy part. It's been an incredible 20 years of video games, or rather 11 years since the beginning. But yeah, seriously. I think I have an answer. I think if you're willing, I will.
Yeah,
start.
You want to start? You said.
I believe. Yeah, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I believe there's only been 2 winners by Nintendo.
Okay.
I believe the 2 winners are Breath of the Wild. So that is 1. And I believe also Tears of the Kingdom was also a winner. I believe both Zelda games are the only games to win since the awards started.
Okay. Great guess. And I wish, especially because this was so recent, I should know this. And I don't know why my brain is going here, but I'm going to guess Nintendo has only won 1 time, and I'm going to guess it was for Breath of the Wild. That's my guess. I don't know why my brain is thinking maybe like Tears of the Kingdom, by the way, is, other than Ocarina of Time, maybe my favorite Zelda game ever made. I love Tears of the Kingdom so much, and I don't know, I can't remember if they won Game of the Year or not, and what other titles released. That game is so good. Okay, but Uno's gonna guess 2, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna take a gamble. I'm gonna guess 1, Breath of the Wild. That's my guess. But a great.
The only other game I could see listed is Odyssey. Maybe Odyssey won Game of the Year, but we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. Again, a huge thank you to our producers for this producer quiz. We're going to see how we do at the very end of today's podcast. Very excited to see that, our trivia challenge. But Uno, Are you ready to jump into the Game Awards, baby?
Oh, ever. And what a lot. We have a lot to talk
So much.
about.
So much to talk about.
Last week, 12 nominations for Expedition 33. We're at that point.
Yep.
Chugs, do you know exactly the ones they've won this year?
I do. Again, Game Awards, an amazing show, and we're going to get into all the detail of that. But as predicted, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 absolutely sweeped this year at the Game Awards. I believe they won 9 different awards, which is just absolutely unbelievable. Like you said, they were nominated for 12, 13 if you include the fan vote, but they won 9 of the 12. And the ones that I'm seeing here that they did win, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 won Best Independent Game. They won Best Performance with Jennifer English, who was Mael in Expedition 33. They also won Best Debut Indie Game, Best Score and Music, Best RPG, Best Narrative, Best Game Direction, and of course, Game of the Year as well. Just an unbelievable. Talk about, they already set records by being nominated the most times, but then to win all of those awards is absolutely unbelievable. This was incredible. Again, there were so many huge, awesome games that were released this year. So many incredible titles. I think 2025 is one of my favorite years in gaming ever. And the Game Awards certainly has gotten us excited for 2026 as well. But Expedition 33 also won Best Art Direction. That's another one that they won also. They deserve it completely. I mean, just a unbelievable game that I think is a generational title. It was well deserved. And just a few other titles that got their flowers as well. Donkey Kong Bonanza got Best Family Game. Innovation and Accessibility was Doom: The Dark Ages. And I won't go through everything here, but Best Adaptation was The Last of Us Season 2. The Best Action Game was Hades 2. Games for Impact was South of Midnight. Very deserved. Best Ongoing Game was No Man's Sky. The Battlefield 6 got Best Audio Design, which is really, really cool. Of course, most anticipated game is Grand Theft Auto 6. The Game Changer Award also, Girls Make Games got that award, which is awesome. Of course, Best Action Adventure Game, Hollow Knight Silk Song got it, baby. Well deserved. Mm-hmm. Best Strategy Game is Final Fantasy Tactics. Best Racing Game, Mario Kart World. Best Community Support, Baldur's Gate 3. Player's voice is Wuthering Waves, which I have still not played, but that one, which is very, very cool. Best multiplayer was Arc Raiders, which just steamrolled here towards the end of the year. So a lot of games getting a lot of love. Also a bunch of nominated games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silent Hill F, just so many awesome titles this year. But again, a huge congrats and a huge GG to Expedition 33 for just absolutely crushing the awards this year.
Oh, it was definitely the Expedition 33 show. Not only did it win a bunch of awards, and so we therefore got to meet a bunch of the developers and a bunch of the voice actors, but they also had a giant opening. They got the opening music act, which was incredible. So straight from the soundtrack. And then at the very end, if you did not watch the Game Awards, I would say the Game of the Year package, there's a video package that they created for it that is incredible. And on top of that, they did a full orchestra cover of every Game of the Year's main title song, which is incredible. Go out of your way. That's like a 6-minute orchestra package. It was so good.
So good. I do want to say too, again, as a show, it's been really cool to see the Game Awards grow so much. Like to think of it's always been awesome that it's existed since 2014, but like to see the show get bigger and bigger and like more of a spectacle. Like I loved how in some ways they would showcase some games where it like started in the auditorium where you're seeing all of that, and then it would go into the actual screen and the gameplay or whatever trailer they were going to show. That, like you said, the musical performances gave me chills. It was absolutely unbelievable. The opening video that they showed before they jumped into the Game Awards was awesome. I thought so many of the speeches were great and like moving. Jeff Keighley had such a great opening speech as well. It was a 10 out of, just like 2025 was a 10 out of 10. The Game Awards 2025 was a 10 out of 10 as well. It was awesome.
This might be my favorite Game Awards they've produced yet.
Me too.
It felt like the tightest package, not only because Expedition 33 was so well represented, but it had incredible games all of this year. But if you take all of the acts together, Evanescence, you had the opening video packages, all the game announcements, which we will be getting into very shortly, all the speeches. This like the tightest package. It had no fluff. It felt like there was no game. There was no unwarranted time on this.
Yep.
Every game deserved to be there. Everything that was shown was incredible. And I'm actually excited to get into some of these game announcements, because constantly I was like, is this thing designed for me? Because they announced so many incredible games.
So many.
And so I'm going to get started on this, because I feel like we could probably talk about this for 30 minutes on its own. Knights of the Old Republic is getting a semi-sequel with Fate of the Old Republic, written by the same person who made Knights of the Old Republic, one of the best Star Wars game ever produced. And it's a single-player game. I believe we will be getting that in 2027. It is by Argonaut Studios, and it looks... I mean, the graphics on the video they showcased was incredible.
Dude, unreal. This was like kind of how they kicked everything off, as far as like I think it was the first big, at least before the opening act, like during the show itself, the first world premiere. And I remember seeing the beginnings of this trailer and thinking like, is this Star Wars? But like, I didn't want to get my hopes up. Not only is it Star Wars, but like you said, it's a successor to Knights of the Old Republic, many people's favorite Star Wars game of all time, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. This looks incredible. The fact that it's the same director is super exciting. Man, people have got to be elated. I know that I am. This is such a cool reveal. I can't wait to check this out.
Yeah, I'm barely a Star Wars game fan, and I'm pumped for this game.
Yeah.
So I think people who are really into it must be going nuts.
Yeah.
Next up, the show actually ended, obviously, with the Game of the Year award going to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. But I did want to mention this at the top, because they did something insane. So throughout the night, Expedition 33 has had speech after speech after speech. I think there was a total of like 7 speeches out of their 9 wins. And at the very end, they just shadow dropped a DLC for the video game that includes new outfits, new areas, new challenges, new weapons, a bunch of new music, a bunch of fixes, and they did it so nonchalantly. No like announcement trailer.
It was the most wild shadow drop I've ever seen. Like exactly like you said. It was so casual at the very end, where people were like, wait, did we hear that right? To just casually at the end of, thank you so much, winning Game of the Year. We worked so hard on this. Hey, by the way, this massive free DLC is out right now. Was nuts. Was nuts. And it's just, again, it encapsulates how crazy this year has been. God, I need to finish Expedition 33 so bad. And I thought I was going to be wrapping up with it soon, but it looks like that is not the case, because when I do finish this game, I'm going to have to jump into the DLC as well. So incredibly exciting. Incredibly exciting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be jumping back in because of this DLC as well. Plus, there was some post-game content I definitely want to get back into as well. Just the most nonchalant drop of a huge DLC I've ever seen. I had to go do research after it was done, because I was like, is this real? Is this actually dropping? And then I had to look up a news piece, because it did not feel like the smartest way to announce a DLC. If you've been following on the Game Awards, the last week they've been teasing this video game with a big statue that Jeff Keighley kept posting photos of. We thought it might be Half-Life 3. There was a ton of other people that thought it might be a Portal game, it might be an Alien game. Well, we finally got an answer for it. It's a brand new game by Larian Studios, the people that made Baldur's Gate 3, and it's a continuation of their previous game, Divinity. This would be Divinity 3, but it is called just Divinity. I do want to mention how the presentation for this was unreal. To introduce this trailer, they had a bunch of actors show up, and then suddenly these actors started levitating and getting pulled into the sky
Yep.
before this video started, and then the video was maybe one of the most grotesque pieces of media I've ever seen. It felt like a Diablo 4 DLC reveal, which we also got later in the show.
Yes.
But it was disgusting. I'm talking like a person on fire, melting, blood everywhere, swearing. This felt like the most adult Game Awards show I think I've seen as of yet.
Dude, I completely agree. It seriously was one of the most grotesque previews or cinematic trailers I've ever seen. Also, that guy who was burning and then like the young little girl just smiling and clapping. I'm like, this is demented, dude. It looked incredible, but it was out there. It was definitely a nasty trailer, but it did get me really, really hyped for Divinity. This is really exciting. What also made me really exciting to Uno is obviously this is from the same creators of Baldur's Gate 3, but they did also casually mention that this is going to be their biggest game ever. Like bigger than Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is massive. So the fact that this game's going to be even bigger is kind of hard to wrap my brain around. Man.
And Divinity 2 Original Sin, which was the previous Divinity title, was also massive. I can't predict this game coming out anytime soon. It feels like Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. This is probably years away from now, but this is definitely on my list of games I want to play. I love Divinity 2, and I think Larian Studios at this point, no matter what they do, you have to pay attention, seeing as it would Baldur's Gate 3, one of the greatest RPGs ever created.
Easy.
Next, we got some Capcom announcements. Starting off with, we got more Resident Evil Requiem.
Yes.
Obviously, that game coming out February 27, 2026. There was obviously a bit of a spoiler this week, including some images that dropped. But we got a video showing us some gameplay, showing us a little bit of the story, and finally seeing some actual Leon S. Kennedy within the video game, playable. An older version of Leon. I cannot wait. I can't believe this is 2.5 months away. We're so close to playing this.
I can't either. This is definitely the game I'm most anticipating as far as early 2026 goes. I love the Resident Evil franchise. This Leon reveal was so cool. And what has me so excited is this game feels like it's going to be the best of so many different versions of Resident Evil. It's like you have that like really scary survival horror aspect, like a little bit of RE1 or RE2 in the sense of playing as one character. And then as Leon, it seems like it's going to be like RE4. They showed Leon using a chainsaw, doing his Resident Evil 4 sidekick. Like this is going to be so sweet. I feel like it's going to be maybe the most complete Resident Evil game we've ever gotten. So this is... Oh, man, I thought the trailer was incredible.
Yeah, this trailer alone makes it look like it's a cross between 4 and 7, where 7 seemed very horror story-based, which that seems to be Ashcroft, which is the main female character in this game, seems to be her part of the game, but the second they showed Leon, it felt way more action-focused like 4 is. So this might be the best of both worlds when it comes to this video game. Very excited to play it. Also during the Game Awards, they kept teasing us with a new Tomb Raider title. Not only did they reveal a new Tomb Raider title, they revealed 2 of them, including we are getting in 2026 a reimagining of Tomb Raider 1 called Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. So that is a full remake of the first game with extra levels, and all kinds of quality of life. It looks incredible. We're getting 2026. And then they also announced with a video trailer as well, a Crystal Dynamic-led 2027 release for Tomb Raider Catalyst. That will be the continuation of the Tomb Raider series. If you played any of the last 3, which I believe were both Crystal Dynamics and maybe Eidos Montreal that worked on those were incredible. I love that series. Yeah, if anything, I actually like those more than the original Tomb Raider games. So I am very excited for the next 2 years to jump back into the remake and as well as the continuation in 2027.
Yeah, me too. But both of these were awesome. The surprise of the remake of Tomb Raider 1 was incredible. I think it looks awesome. All the older enemies were there. That looks really, really cool. And like you said, the recent reboot a few years ago with the Tomb Raider games were so good. So the fact that we're getting not one, but two more Lara Croft games is great news. I think both of them look incredible.
This next game is the one I'm the most excited for by far. I did not anticipate this, but Remedy came in, and not only that they showcased one of the most interesting games, I think by far they had the most interesting trailer and presentation of any game. It started off with like a bunch of malfunctioning lights at the very beginning where I thought I was watching video footage of a game, but in fact it was live in the arena, a bunch of floating bodies, just well lit, and what essentially looked like Control when you're floating within the house. Well, they finally announced Control Resonant, which will be a sequel to Control. The most recently, Alan Wake 2 was essentially a continuation of the Control universe. Now it's a continuation of Control proper. You get to play as the brother of the titular character Jesse from Control. If you played that game, you're trying to save the brother. The brother is imprisoned and eventually being taken over by the Hiss, which is the bad guy in this game. You get to play Dylan, her younger brother. And this seems to be a third-person action melee-focused game. While Control was third-person shooter, this does seem more in the vein of like a Devil May Cry. But it features the same kind of insane psychedelic levels with almost Inception-like structures and stuff. It looks really cool. The trailer, especially with the full presentation of the early bits right into the trailer and the music used and so on, I think it looks so cool. I'm so pumped to play this. And it comes out in 2026, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm with you. The game looks incredible. And also, I agree, I think it was maybe the coolest trailer of the night, which is really saying something because there were a lot of really cool trailers. But yeah, so pumped for this.
We also got to see more of Saros. Saros is the new game by Housemarque. They are the people who made Returnal, so it's a somewhat Returnal successor. We got a larger trailer with gameplay and a little bit more story. You got to meet the main character. Arjun, I believe, is the name of the character. And on top of that, they also announced a date for the game. It will be coming out April 30th, 2026, exclusive, I believe, to PlayStation.
Yeah, it looks great.
We saw a new trailer for Super Mario Galaxy, the movie. That is coming out April 3rd. About 30 seconds of new footage, including Luigi, Bowser Jr., and so on. I teased this earlier, but Capcom didn't come in just with Resident Evil. They had a trailer showcasing an upcoming sale they had, but they also showcased what, to me, is maybe the most exciting Capcom thing they've done in quite some time. They are making a new 2D side-scroller Mega Man game called Mega Man Dual Override that comes out in 2027. And on top of that, not only did they tease the game, they showed us some real footage of it. Super excited for that, especially because they just recently, in a news piece, disclosed that not only will they be bringing back attention to Mega Man, but they are looking to bring back Ace Attorney as well as Devil May Cry. So a lot of IPs from Capcom are about to get the Resident Evil treatment, where we're getting all kinds of cool new stuff.
Capcom just crushing it. Oh
man. They walked away from this very strong. A lot of big titles announced.
Yeah.
We got a little more information on Lego Batman. There was a very fascinating trailer where they showcased probably 15 different villains within this video game.
So many.
It's a big open world Gotham, made of Lego, obviously. Features a slew of bad guys, and it looks like it will be... there are 7 playable characters, including Batman, Jim Gordon, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, Catwoman, and Talia al Ghul. There might be more as well. But in that trailer, that is what they disclosed. And the game will be coming out May 29th, 2026. I teased this earlier as well, but Blizzard came and showcased one of their fascinating cinematic trailers. This time, once again, they're making a Diablo expansion. I thought this would be the coolest thing I've seen, but Divinity was just so grotesque. It almost ate this game's lunch. But Diablo 4... adds not one, but 2 new classes, including the Paladin, and a Diablo 4 expansion called Lord of Hatred. That will come out April 28th on 2026.
Yes.
The main bosses seems to be Mephisto and Lilith, who are back from the dead.
Yeah. Good trailer. Really good trailer.
It was a very good trailer.
Yeah.
Very good trailer. They brought up almost every actor from the Street Fighter movie, including Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the freaking Orville Peck was on stage too, so he must have cost a fortune to do this. And they dropped a very, very cool trailer for the Street Fighter movie. I was already fascinated with this movie just by the choices they made on who would be what. And getting to see it in action in this trailer, and kind of like it has like neon lighting for a lot of it. It looks like a lot of big character pieces. There's a huge roster of characters in this.
Massive.
It looks awesome.
It does.
If you have not seen the trailer, go check that out. October 16th is when it comes out. Next up, I talked about how there was more than one Star Wars game. We're getting a new pod racer game. It's by the makers of Burnout and Need for Speed, and it is called Star Wars Galactic Racer. I'm fascinated that we're getting a new Star Wars game. It comes out in 2026. I love the N64 pod racer game.
So good. So the fact that we're getting a new Star Wars racing game is very exciting. This looked great.
This one's for you, Chugs. We finally got a release date for Phantom Blade Zero, and it comes out September 9th, 2026.
God, I'm so excited. Again, the more they show of this game, the more I'm like, I can't wait to play this day one. Just looks like an incredible action game. I'm so pumped for Phantom Blade. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, and the trailer that they dropped was action-packed. You could see just how difficult this is going to be.
Oh, dude, I love too the really out there wacky enemy and boss designs, and it seems like there's a lot of that in Phantom Blade Zero. In addition to all the different moves and skills you can use, it just looks. If somehow you have not seen any footage of Phantom Blade Zero, go out of your way to look it up. It looks incredible. Looks incredible.
We also got to see more Capcom games. This one was for Pragmata. We already got an announcement trailer before. I believe, Chugs, you may have had a chance to see more of this game before.
Yes.
Well, we finally got some news. It will be coming out to Nintendo Switch 2. A demo is now available to play, and the video game is coming out April 24th, 2026. I'm really excited for this. Capcom has not done anything wrong in the last decade, and I'm excited for them to start a new IP as well.
I am too, and I got a really good feeling about this game. Also, the only thing I want to note, based on the trailer, I have a sinking feeling that this story is going to be absolutely soul-crushing. Like the choice of song,
think so too.
the choice of song they used, I was feeling like emotional and sad. Nothing happened. I'm like, oh God, they're gonna make me cry at the end of this game. I just know it. But Pragmata is, again, the gameplay is really, really cool. The story's great. The game looks great. I'm excited to play this. Really excited.
There's a new game by one of the creators of the Yakuza games, known for Ryu Gotoku. That is the developer of those games. One of their lead designers, Toshihiro Nagoshi, has left the studio and created his own studio, and they announced his new game. This one is called Gang of Dragon, and I mean this not in a diminutive way, but it does look like a Yakuza game, including it is set in Kabukisho, which is just the inspiration for Yakuza's Kamuracho. It looks exactly like what you would think. It's got a badass character, he's kicking ass, and it's got great graphics. I'm very excited to play this.
Yeah, me too.
There is a new Dungeons & Dragons single-player RPG that was revealed called Warlock. It was a cinematic trailer. Not a whole lot of news on this, but they did use Tool for the soundtrack of it, and on that alone, I give this an A+. We got what I would say is a beautifully creepy first-person trailer for a game that I don't know about you, but for maybe 2 seconds when they put a 3 on screen, I thought, oh my God, it's Half-Life 3.
I thought the same exact thing. The same thing. And Uno, I swear to God, the entire crowd was thinking the same thing we did. Because when that 3 popped up, they all gasped. And then and again, Forest 3 looks awesome, but when Forest popped up, everyone went, oh, and then laughed. It was if you go back and listen to the audio, it was wild. But this trailer was incredible. It looks so creepy,
Yes.
dude. But I was right there with you. I thought, oh my god, we're getting Half-Life 3.
Yeah, and graphically, this looks weird and wild.
Yeah.
And I've not played the Forest games. I'm not much into those co-op horror survival games, but this one looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And I might get this one a chance.
I definitely want to try this one.
There's still so much for us to announce.
So much.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get through some of these fairly quick. Invincible Versus got a new character. The game is coming out in April of next year. The brand new character is Elemental. So if you know anything about Invincible, that is one of the characters that have been added. Total Warhammer. That's right. Total War Warhammer 40K is a brand new game by Creative Assembly. If you know anything, Warhammer 40K is doing all kinds of cross games with all kinds of other ones. That is coming out with no immediate date, but a little trailer and a little announcement for that. We also got, this was the closer as far as trailers, Highguard. This is the same people who made Titanfall are making a free multiplayer shooter game. And also, if you did not know, that it's an Apex Legends creators as well, but is a PvP raid shooter game. And the crazy thing about this is it looked really fun. It looked really like frenetic and quick with a bunch of the traversal stuff that I like from Titanfall. Yep. And the crazy thing of it is it's coming out for free January 26th. So you only have about a month to wait. Other than that, we also heard about For Loop. This is J.J. Abrams Studios' Bad Robot's new game. This is also by Mike Booth, who is the person who made Left 4 Dead. They're making a new 4-player co-op third-person sci-fi shooter game where you're essentially stuck in a time loop, or it made me think of Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat if you're from, I believe, the UK. That's what it was called. And essentially, you keep tackling the problem, dying, and as you come back, you learn from your experience and then hopefully get through the entire raid. This looked really cool.
Yeah.
The people who made The Ascent made a first-person trailer for a game that looked like Cyberpunk. I thought that too looked awesome.
Yes, so cool.
It looks so good. It's called No Law. No date quite yet, but the open-world first-person RPG game with a very Cyberpunk style. It looks awesome. We got Ace Combat 8. That is coming. It'll be coming to PC and consoles. We saw. We know that 0007 First Light, that is the IOI's recent game, the creators of Hitman, is coming out on March 27, 2026. So we're only 4 months away from this. But the main villain of the video game is Lenny Kravitz.
Let's go.
Lenny Kravitz walked out in the wildest outfit, and the dude looks incredible for 60 years old.
So cool.
Very excited for him to be a Bond villain.
Very excited.
If you're playing a Marvel Rivals, a Season 6 trailer confirmed that Deadpool will be one of the next players. This one's for me, and I know, Chugs, I think you said it on your stream too.
I did.
But Jonathan Blow, creator of Braid and creator of The Witness, is finally, after 10 years, announced his next title, and this next title is a 250-hour puzzle game.
Woo!
With over 1,400 puzzles, and it's called Order of the Sinking Star. I don't know what to say other than it looks like it's going to be a lot of puzzles. I'm excited. Jonathan Blow's a weird character who I may not exactly love all of his takes, but I cannot take away his video game prowess because he's made some of my favorite puzzle games ever.
And you are a puzzle master, so you got to play this, Uno. You have to.
I am, and I'm very excited. Lords of the Fallen 2 had a new trailer. This looks awesome.
It does. Again, the Lords of the Fallen reboot has been very successful. People saying how great that game is. So I'm so excited to check this out. It looks violent. It looks gory. Lords of the Fallen 2 looks sweet.
We also got a trailer for Neo 3, another game that definitely Chugs will be jumping into. This also looks equally as awesome.
Yep. Agreed.
We saw a bunch of co-op games announced, including Out of Words, which is, it was like I don't know if it's like claymation or what, but it looked incredible. Looks like a co-op platforming game. We also, Mario and Rabbids creator is making a new platforming game called Bradley the Badger. This was not on the main show. This was on the pre-show. But to me, as a guy who loves 3D puzzle platformers, this looks awesome.
Yes.
It included a bunch of levels, one that was based on Bloodborne, one that was based on Cyberpunk, another on Last of Us. It is just like breaking the fourth wall and making references to other games. And it has Grant Kirkhope is making a brand new soundtrack for it as the person who made Banjo-Kazooie. I'm fascinated with this project. I can't wait to play.
Me too. I'm very excited for this. I thought it was an amazing trailer, and I love callbacks to other games. I love when games do that.
And then there was a bunch of little indie games. I don't want to get into too many of them. In fact, look, most of the main things I have announced. There was also a Day of the Devs side stream that both me and Chugs did not get to see, that announced another 20 indie titles. If there's any of those that you were fascinated by, please go to youtube.com/AEW Games. Let us know all about it. I have to catch up because Game Awards alone, I was watching it. It was 1 a.m. in the morning in the UK. Was like 3.5 hours long. I just did not have anything else left in me. But there is so many cool games that are coming out. This was my favorite Game Awards probably ever.
Mine too. Just what an amazing show. Amazing games being recognized for how incredible they are. And again, so many incredible announcements for 2026 and beyond. It is a good time to be a gamer. It is a good time to be a gamer.
Big time. Let us know on YouTube, youtube.com/AEW Games. That is where our video format is. Go to the comment section. That is your best way to get in contact with us. And I would like to know, if you're listening to this, what game are you the most excited from this week of Game Awards? There's been so many crazy announcements. By far for me, and I know it may not be everyone's number one, but I am so excited for Control 2, or I believe Control Revenant is what it's called. But let us know in the comments down below what you are pumped for. I would love to hear all about it. And if you are displaying a game that we have not talked about, put a trailer in that comment. I would love to watch it as well.
Yeah.
That is it for the news of this week. It's a full Game Awards show for this week, but that is not it for our podcast, because we have the answers to the producer quiz. And, of course, our favorite segment of the show, the Arcade Mailbag, comes to you right after this. And we're back. It is time for the Arcade Mailbag, brought to you by our good friends at UpperDeck.com. UpperDeck is cracking open the most electrifying AEW trading card set released yet. That's the 2025 SB Game Used set. We've been opening it for the last several weeks. It involves a bunch of cool stuff, including autographs, and a tech insert as well. This week, actually, we're opening a metal pack.
Yes.
I did not bring my SP pack with us, but Chugs, you have a pack ready to go.
I do, and I love these metal packs. First and foremost, a Serpentico card.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Then we have a Soraya card as well. We have a Jamie Hayter card, a chopped card, which is very cool. It's like a hand there as well. We have a Big Bill card. We have a Brian Keith card. All these are so cool. And last but not least, we have a Dutch card, baby. There we go. Great pack. Great pack.
Great pack as always. Metal is one of our favorite packs as well, but in the most recent one is the 2025 SB Game Use set. That's available now. It's the AEW's first ever Game Use product, and it's stacked with pieces from the ring, including one autograph and 2 memorabilia or tech cards per pack. From championship belts to event banners, kendo sticks to trash cans, this set dives deep into the grit and glory of AEW's most iconic moments. Yes, there's even a 1-for-1 fork, a nod to the explosive move that Hangman Adam Page did on Jon Moxley at AEW All In Texas. Whether you're chasing match shoes, relics, or tech-layered rarities, this release is pure adrenaline for collectors. Collectors can actually go right now and get their hands on a box in their local hobby shops. Go to upperdeck.com or to find a store near you. As always, thank you to Upper Deck for sponsoring this segment.
Yes. Thank you so much, Upper Deck. Okay, so once again, we're going to jump into the community mailbag. We have 2 questions this week. First question from Jacob. Jacob, thank you for the question. Hey guys, what are your favorite underrated indie titles? Mine would have to be a little known game called Cassette Beasts. Jacob, thank you very much for the question. Also, I am going to have to check out Cassette Beasts. I have not played that before because I love indie titles. Me and Uno both love indie titles. But man, I have so many favorites. Again, there are very popular ones like, Celeste, Hades, Hollow Knight, so many incredible indie titles that are becoming more and more popular as time goes on. But there's 2 that I would like to mention that I feel like enough people don't talk about. I've talked about them quite a bit before, that being Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia. Again, 2 absolutely beautiful Metroidvania games. I love the art style. The music fits the mood so well. The environments are incredible. The bosses are incredible. Just as a Metroidvania, it is done so well. It has a super intriguing story, and it's a really, really fun game. Again, as Lily, you do get these different spirits who attack for you, which is a really cool concept that I haven't seen a ton before. But if you are a Metroidvania fan and you have not played Ender Lilies or Ender Magnolia, please do. I promise you won't be disappointed.
As someone that took Chugs' advice, those games are incredible. If you've not played them, you definitely should. As far as Metroidvania games, they are within top 10 ever made, I think.
Yeah.
On my side, I want to give a shout out to one. If you're a recent convert to indie games, there's a slew of older games that you should be playing, including Fez, Papers, Please, as the people that made Return of Obra Dinn, or the person. It's one singular person that made those games called Lucas Pope. Both those games, I would go out of your way, go and play those if you can. But there is one I would like to give or 2 I would like to give a shout out to. One is is a little older. The devs that made Guacamelee 1, Guacamelee 2, that is a Metroidvania pro wrestling game, made a game called Severed, which is a first-person cel-shaded dungeon crawler that I think is so fascinating, so beautiful artistically, and what's very neat about it is it's very simple. You can even play on an iPad with touch controls, but it's also available on Steam. Go out of your way, play Severed. That was one of my favorite games when it did come out. And then I would like to give a shout out to a more recent indie game because I feel like we'll never hear about it in 2025. The world's the best year in video games. Yeah. But I would like to give a shout out to a game I played back in January called The Root Trees Are Dead, which is a detective video game where you are just given a interface of information, and you have to recreate a family tree based on the information you read, be it news articles, podcasts, so on and so forth, within the video game. To me, I love those type of games, those investigative games, and I feel like this game, any other year, you would hear about it at the end of the year. But I'm pretty certain there are at least 20 titles that have come this year that will probably usurp it. So go check out The Root Trees Are Dead if you have not. It comes with my seal of approval. If you like detective games, that is a fascinating one that I really, really enjoyed.
Yes. Jacob, great question. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have a question from Heath. Heath, thank you for the question. Hey, fellas, gotta say, I absolutely love the podcast. Well, thank you. I was recently playing Metroid Prime using my Switch 2 Pro controller and thought to myself, this is probably my favorite controller of all time. It's an incredible controller. As someone who's been playing games since the 80s, I've got a chance to use a lot of different controllers. What is your favorite controller of all time? Thanks. Keep up the great work, guys. Heath, that is an incredible question. First and foremost, let me say as well, the Switch 2 Pro controller is absolutely incredible. I love that controller. And same, I've gotten the chance to use a bunch of different controllers. There are some that are so important and special to me based on nostalgia, like the SNES controller. I love the Nintendo 64 controller, just warms my heart every time I get to hold one. But I think my favorite controller of all time has got to be Xbox's Elite Series 2 controller. I love a weightier controller, and the Elite Series 2 is heavier. I love the customization with the hair triggers. I love that you can change so seamlessly the sticks. For example, when I play a first-person game, I make the right stick a high stick, so I'm like better with my accuracy. And again, it's all magnetic, so you can so easily change the sticks as much as you want. But most importantly, I love using back paddles. I have become so accustomed to using back paddles that lots of times if I do play a game without back paddles, it feels really, really strange to me. I love to be able to have both my thumbs on the joysticks at all times and just be able to use A, B, X, and Y from pressing the back of the controller. And in my opinion, the most comfortable best well-placed back paddles on any controller I've ever used has been the Elite Series 2. The recently Razer released a V8 esports controller that has back paddles that are very similar to the Elite Series 2 placement of the back paddles, and those have been excellent. But man, I've got to say, of all time, the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller is my favorite controller I've ever used.
I mean, that's a hard one to even oppose because that is a nearly perfect controller.
Yeah.
On my side, there are a few that I'd like to shout out nostalgia reasons. You already mentioned the N64 one. That is kind of the even though it is design wise kind of ridiculous of a controller, it's one I'm so fond of that it will always have a place among my favorites. The same goes to Dreamcast. I feel like the Dreamcast controller had a feel like none other, and the fact that it had a built-in memory unit that was its own video game as well makes it stand out to me when I talk about these. And not to be boring, because we just said that the Xbox Elite is amongst the best, and that's one of the most recent controllers. I think the PS5 DualShock controller is, to me, the best controller ever made. It feels incredible in your hand. It has features for it that I think no other game does properly. First of all, haptic feedback on its own. If you play the Astrobot games, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's such a unique feature that only the PlayStation 5 controller has at this moment. The rumble on it is so sensitive and precise that you can do incredible things with it. It's got the face pad, it's got the built-in microphone and speaker. I'm not a big fan of the microphone, but the speaker itself makes for some interesting stuff. I love every time I play a game when they occasionally have secondary audio feed through the controller. I think that's super fascinating and different. But at the very end of it, I just think it feels better than any other controller. For me, at least for my hands, the way the controller is structured, I think the PS5 one is by far my favorite.
And that's such a great choice. I just quickly want to make note of this because I know we talked about this a little bit, but the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller is so good. It's the only controller that I keep vibration on for. Like on my Elite Series 2, I turn vibration off. On my Switch 2 Pro controller, I turn vibration off. But the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller is so good that I have to keep it on. It's incredible. What an amazing feature. Heath and Jacob, thank you both very much for the questions. Very much appreciated. Very fun community mailbag this week. But before we wrap up with today's long Game Awards episode, which has been an absolute blast, thank you everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. We do have to get the answers for the producer quiz this week. Let's see how we did. I'm scrolling down. Okay. All right. Here we go. Question 1. Which game won Game of the Year in the first year of the Game Awards in 2014? Uno said A, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. I said B, Dragon Age Inquisition. The correct answer was Dragon Age Inquisition. That's one for me, baby.
Yeah, really?
Also won Best RPG. The other nominees were Hearthstone, won Best Mobile/Handheld Game, Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, and Shadow of Mordor. So, I thought I remembered, because again, I'm very into video game history. I recently looked at a list of all the winners. I think that was just yesterday, and I thought I remembered seeing that Dragon Age Inquisition did win the first year. But there we go. That's question 1. Question 2. Which game won Best Independent Game of the Game Awards in 2018? A, Return of the Obra Dinn, B, Celeste, C, Dead Cells, and D, Hades. The correct answer was Celeste. Celeste won the Best Independent Game of the Year 2018. This is, I wasn't sure, but Hades won Best Indie and Best Action Game in 2020. Okay, so they absolutely won. But it was in 2020.
You were right. You were right to question the years on
Let's go. Yeah, because I couldn't remember, but it's tough to remember. Dead Cells won Best Action Game in 2018, and Return of Obra Dinn won Best Art Direction in 2018. Okay, so it was kind of a trick question. And question 3. How many Game of the Year awards has Nintendo won, and for which game? I said 1, Breath of the Wild. Uno said 2, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. The correct answer, Nintendo has only won 1 Game of the Year award, and that was for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in 2017. There we go.
Clean sweep by the Chugs. That makes his total, I believe you're at 12.
I believe I'm at 12.
Now.
Woo!
That's right. You've doubled my score. I'm not surprised. I will say I have such a bad memory when it comes to Game of the Year, especially when you start taking into the like what year what game came out.
Oh my
I
God.
could not tell you. And like every game listed was an incredible game, especially that 2018 one. Tough list for sure.
Oh yeah.
I also just realized, I think the year that Tears of the Kingdom came out, Elden Ring came out too. And so I should have known.
Okay, because that's what my brain was thinking. I was like, I can't believe, I don't know why. I was thinking when Tears came out, there was another game that was massive that ended up getting Game of the Year. Because I remember thinking that watching the Game Awards that year that Tears of the Kingdom was going to win. And then I didn't even remember which game won, but I don't remember Nintendo getting up there and claiming Game of the Year for Tears. But I just couldn't remember which one. So it was Elden Ring came out that year. Okay.
I believe so. This is off the top of my head. I might be wrong.
Okay.
Someone will correct us in our chat.
Right. Exactly. Something beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Thank you to everyone. If you want your questions answered, by the way, for the arcade mailbag, go to tbs.com/arcade mailbag. That is how you can send your questions to us. We answer 2 or 3 at the end of every single episode. Plus, if you want to listen to this podcast, hit that follow button. Every single Monday, an episode drops. Next Monday, we're finally talking our Game of the Years. That's right. We're going to go through a bunch of nominations of our personal Games of the Years. We will decipher what our Game of the Year. We'll talk about it. And plus, we will finally go into a little bit of a spoiler cast on certain games, including Expedition 33.
Yes.
We have to talk about it. Narratively alone, I would love to talk about this game. So do check out Monday's episode next week. Available Monday early in the morning everywhere on podcast networks, but also available on youtube.com/AEW Games at noon Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. Do subscribe there. Plus, if you subscribe, you get access to the Bronami Code. That's every Thursday on YouTube, a show with MXM and the talent from AEW. You can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/AEW Games, 9 p.m. every single Monday. There's a Twitch stream, typically hosted by MXM. I'm on twitch.tv/EvilUno, and the Chugs is on twitch.tv/TheChugs. Check him out this week. He's hopefully going to finish Expedition 33.
Yes.
He kind of has to.
I don't have a choice. I have to finish the game this week. Have to. And I will.
Yeah. We have to talk about it next week. As always, thank you so much. Make sure you listen to our episode next week. It's going to be a fairly large one. There's a lot to talk about with Game of the Year just around the corner. Plus, who knows what other news is going to come out and what other games we're going to be getting into. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, whatever. It will notify you of it next Monday. It's a big one. As always, thank you so much for listening to us. Our Mondays are better because of you. And we hope we will hear you, or you will hear us, I guess, next Monday. Have a good weekend, a good week, and enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye.